religion should be by all of us initiates of the high degrees, maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. And Mom, what is your perception of who Lucifer is?
Well, Lucifer is a name in scripture of the people of the book. We say people of the book, meaning Jews and Christians. Lucifer is a name given there. In our scripture, he's called Shaitan. Shaitan. And he is the Satan. He is the big devil.
Who is Lucifer?
Oh, Satan. Say literally the bearer of light. And if you can look up either Satan or Lucifer and see references to, well, I guess you'd have to say kind of apocryphal and maybe even apocalyptic literature, because there's more said about Satan outside of the Bible than there is in the Bible.
Right. But
the name Lucifer, bearer of light, is a rebellious angel who refused to recognize human beings as truly God's creation.
But there's more. Yes, Lucifer is God, and unfortunately, Adonai is also God. For the eternal law is that there is no light without shade, no beauty without ugliness, no white without black. For the absolute can only exist as two gods, darkness being necessary to the statue and the brake to the locomotive.
Over the centuries, Masons have been accused of worshiping the devil, and that's the first time I've ever heard that somebody who claimed to be a Mason at that level ever say that. Adonai.
Adonai.
Yeah, it literally means the Lord. That's actually, one would have to say that point of view is very Gnostic. And if you look up the Gnostics, Gnostic, you'll see that many of them, particularly the Manichaeans, believe that there are two equal gods vying it out for control of the universe. Other early Christian heretics like Marcion believed that the God of the Old Testament was a lesser god, a demiurge is the phrase he uses, as opposed to the God of the New Testament. Christians, properly so called, have through the centuries always believed that there is but one God, and the God of the Old Testament is the one who is the Father, the Word made flesh, sent into the world, Jesus Christ.
So you would say that these teachings conflict with Christianity?
Oh, sure, without a doubt.
Okay. Now I want to take this time to point out that I'm not trying to make the case that all Freemasons are followers of the Luciferian doctrine. However, literature from high-ranking Freemasons tells another story. I tried to visit a few Masonic temples and ask them myself, yet they refused to speak with me on camera or on the subject in general. It may be the case that most Freemasons are just normal, God-fearing people. Yet Albert Pike does say this. In his book, Morals and Dogma of Freemasonry, Pike writes, Masonry, like all the religions, all the mysteries, Hermeticism, and alchemy, conceals its secrets from all except the adepts and sages, or the elect, and uses false explanations and misinterpretations of its symbols to mislead those who deserve only to be misled. The blue degrees are but the outer court or portico of the temple. Part of the symbols are displayed there to the initiate, but he is intentionally misled by false interpretations. It is not intended that he shall understand them, but it is intended that he shall imagine he understands them. Their true explanation is reserved for the adepts, the princes of Masonry. Is Albert Pike alone in his views? Here is what some other Masonic authors have to say. some more interesting things about DC? The architect of this great city, a Frenchman hired by George Washington, was, in fact, a Freemason. Pierre Lafont was commissioned by George Washington to design the street layout of Washington, D.C. In his design, we find several symbols examining the city from an aerial photo taken from satellite. First, we can see a triangle, which forms a pyramid. If we place the eye on the pyramid, we see that it falls directly on the Supreme Council of Freemasonry 33rd degree temple. This temple is located exactly 13 blocks from the White House, as is the case with Albert Pike's statue. A replica of this triangle can be inverted to form a 6-point star pointing directly down at the White House. Likewise, if you invert the pyramid on the Great Seal, we have a similar symbol, each corner on the star pointing to a letter. Which letters? M-A-S-O-N. Now you don't have to be a cheerleader to spell that out. In fact, we can see the same symbol above the eagle formed by 13 stars. There are actually many instances of 13 in the seal, 13 being a number of Masonic significance. Also noticeable from the aerial view of DC, a symbol that is a little more disturbing.
This force that's happening in the world is coming about all over. It's like resurgent atavism.
It is a role model that I myself am a Satan in the society in which I exist.
We are here, we're not going away, and Christianity and the Day of the Cross are done.
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
The age of fire has begun.
One, two, three, four, five,
six.